thank you for being here. So
Thank you.
this is the first Peachy virtual business interview, but I'm super excited because as soon as I saw your website, I knew that you guys were doing something that other companies should be doing, and something that seems to resonate and be much more powerful than just selling a product or showing up as a business. You were definitely more than that. You were showing up as a set of values, as a culture, and as a vision for the world and for how people connect. So
For sure.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Thank you. It's really great to hear somebody understand what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, it's what means it matters. What really matters the most to me is the fact that she took the time to actually research us and look into us, because for the past 2 years we've been doing a lot of stuff. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, sure. And it didn't take much. Your website isn't overly complicated or busy or pushing product at you. What I noticed when I went to your website was that I was reading about your values first and foremost. They were so prominent. And then I went, oh, okay, there's a message, there's a perspective here that they want to share, and they're doing it through products. They're sharing it through products. That's their tangible way, but their message is first and foremost. So then I started looking at your lines and the different types of cool accessories that you have and clothes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I think that really starting with values and leading with values is important today, and can be much more powerful than trying to sell a product. And I wanted other small businesses that follow Peachy to learn this lesson and to hear from you why it's been powerful and why you're doing it. So maybe we can just start, and I'll turn it over to you. If you wouldn't mind each just giving your names and a quick introduction about the company and where to find you. And I know you're coast to coast, so I want to mention right where we have Lovans, who's sitting there in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to New York. And then we have Ryan here in San Diego. And of course,
I'm in San Diego. Can I share my screen for the
Sure. Take it away.
Okay. Cool. Bring this back. Okay, so my name is Ryan Wallace, and my associate, my best friend and partner and co-business owner is Lovans Florial, and we're Lonely Floater. We've been in business for over 4 years, October 31st, which is Halloween, favorite day of the year. And let's start with our brand promise. So our brand promise is Lonely Floater will continue to develop a global community that embraces individualism and spreads knowledge and welcomes any self-identifiable label. And I start off with that because that's pretty much how we want to set the tone for this conversation. So I'm from New York as well, and born and raised. My family's from Jamaica. I'm first-born generation American, and I'm also a veteran, but I live in San Diego. So that's where the part of Lonely Floaters operations occur with me. I'm a live entrepreneur student out of San Diego State University, and I graduated in 2021. And I'll let Lovans introduce himself.
I'm Lovans Florial. I like to believe that I'm a self-taught guru. I'm maybe like a YouTube. I don't even know how to put it. I graduated from YouTube, so I learned everything that I could learn from YouTube, from photography, from how to manage social media, from how to design. Everything was just from YouTube. And I just pride myself in, being interested in things and just going head in, and it's okay to mess up. I mess up, but from the mess ups, I always gain a bunch of knowledge, and I gain perspective, so I like to believe that I'm a self-taught guru.
So our main link for our content will be on Instagram, because that's where my photography comes out. That's where Lovans photography comes out. That's where our ideas and vision kind of gets incorporated into one image or three images, if not But our website is lonelyfloater.com. Everything's under Lonely Floater. We have a Facebook page as well. We have also a Facebook group with over 800 members inside of it. I think our Instagram is at 28.3 thousand
Yeah,
followers right now. And
yeah.
then Twitter's not doing that much because our Twitter's kind of like, we're not a big fan
Yeah,
of
Twitter's
Twitter.
it's
It's a
a
strange
different
place.
type of social media, honestly.
But those are our most popular outlets, and our engagements are mostly through Instagram because people can see our art and then our message through our captions and then like resonate with it. So that's the best way to get in contact with us and check out our stuff.
Also, Instagram is a really great place to like test things out, you know? It really just gives you a moment to really be close to the people that are interested in you and also the followers and even supporters, you know, it just gives you a chance to really just have direct conversations with these people, you know, have so many moments where people reach out and either they just ask for general advice or how did you do it, or they ask for like, how were you inspired to do things like that. So it's really great to just be able to connect with people on a real level, although it's virtual, you know. So
Yeah,
I really do love social like Instagram for that specific reason, you know, just being able to connect with people. And I think that's what made the brand strong, to be honest. Just being able to reach out to these people and we literally just have conversations with people. We meet people online. I've met so many friends from Lonely Floater through Instagram, and they've been friends for the last 3 years, you know, and huge
yeah,
supporters, and they give really great advice or how to do things, or oh, maybe you should try doing things this way. Maybe you should reach out to this guy. It just gives you that opportunity to really just connect with people on a really crazy level, honestly.
I agree. Like one of my most favorite things about Lonely Floor is the fact that like me and Levons both have a really good like network of friends, but because of Lonely Floor, we span in different countries now. Like, and we have relationships with people in different countries now because they not only represent the brand, but they also like promote the brand as well. Like they'll buy stuff, or we'll go down there and do photo shoots. Like for instance, like I've done 12 photo shoots in Spain, I've done photo shoots in Japan. Then we have suppliers in Pakistan, China, Mexico, and then we have connections with them like on more than just a business level, but like a business. How would you say it? It's a level of business that also incorporates friendship, you know,
Yeah,
and because people that we work with buy the stuff too. So that's one of my favorite parts as well.
for sure. Lonely Floater started. The idea for Lonely Floater started maybe about 5 years ago. Actually, probably longer than that. I was probably in high school, and the whole idea of Lonely Floater happened. I was walking home one night. Let me put this on vibrate. I was walking home one night, and while I was walking, there was like a mom, and she was trying to get her child out the car. And when the kid was coming out the car, he was just crying. He let go of the balloon. The balloon got tangled onto a tree, and I was just looking at the full moon and how the balloon was just hanging on the tree. I was just like, wow. Like, I don't know why that image just stuck with me. I spent so much time just drawing the image, and um and this is like before we had the idea for Lonely Floater. Ryan, he was going to the military. He was going to the Navy, and he was like, hey bro, can I use one of those designs that you have and just put it on a t-shirt and go to Spain, because I just want something that reminds me of home. And I was like, for sure. And then when he ordered he ordered me one. And while in Spain, people were like, hey man, where you get that shirt? He was like, man, there's only 2 shirts. You really can't get this. This is just for me and my friend. And people were willing to buy the shirt off his back. He calls me. He's like, dude, people are trying to buy this shirt off of my back right now. I'm like, sell it. So, and that's literally how Lonely Floater started. It was just a simple idea, but execution. And just really just trying to gain information of different types of business and just trying to understand how businesses work. Because the idea of Lonely Floater maybe originated 3 years before the business started. So ideally 6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, we had the ideas. had a bunch of designs because I was taking art classes. So I was just drawing things that I was inspired by. And we sat there and we developed two hats made from 4 couple shirts, and then out of nowhere it just took off, and it was just something fun to do, before we really started to, hey, this is what we wanted to do professionally. It was really just a form of like community. We made shirts for friends, and our friends were buying things, and our friends went to other places and people started seeing it. And what's great is our friends were really promoting, and they were really like, hey, look at these dudes are doing some cool stuff. And information just started sharing like wildfire.
What do you think that balloon was symbolizing, or the images that you were putting out there? What do you think that they were connecting to in that image? It could be a variety of things. But.
So with the idea for Lonely Floater, when we decided to move towards the path of creating clothing as a means of marketing, we wanted to. Well, we were pretty broke growing up. Like we couldn't afford like Ton, Prada, or like Ralph Lauren, like some other kids that where we're from. And we wanted to make sure that, okay, if we put out a product, that it's something that's affordable and that also carries a message. Like, and our big thing is minimalist, having a huge value through minimalism. That's why we don't have like really big designs or like too much like over the top stuff. Like something like that a kid can wear and a person can wear, like, and represent something, and someone will see it and they know. So the symbolism that we developed for Lonely Floater is a silhouette of a man holding silhouette of a person holding a balloon, a red balloon. And the red balloon represents your dreams, your aspirations, your goals. And then we made it adamant that when we first holding the balloon, that it's not wrapped around his wrist. It's an intentional statement to say that I'm following my dreams. This is something that I still want to go towards, and it's guiding me there. It's not like, it's taking me there. It's not like it's demanding or requiring me to follow this path. It's something that I want to do because I've never forgotten who I was or who I wanted to be beforehand. That's what the red balloon represents.
Where I came from, for sure.
Where I came from, exactly. So,
and the reason why the silhouette is because I didn't want the Lonely Floater to necessarily look like anybody, because he or she could technically be anybody. So I was really adamant of just making sure that it was a shadow figure, and that you really couldn't tell who the character was, what the character was about, and also added some type of mystery, like, okay, guys, so like I had a bunch of family members that were like, okay, I get it, but why? And I'm just like, Now,
I want to go into those values and talk more about that, because on your website you talk about individualism, and there's some phrases in there that I love, that you go out and you travel and you come back and you not only have a new perspective and you were open to it, but then you share it with a friend and they carry it forward. I loved so many of the things you were saying, and it was so strong that the message was very forward and prominent on the website. And I wanted to know and ask you why you think it's important to lead with values, and how that's been powerful for your brand.
I think it's interesting how this photo that I put up, and unintentionally I used of a really close friend of mine named Tony. And when I left for the Navy, we all went to the same high school area. And when I left for the Navy and I came back, I found out that he joined the Navy too. And when I had a conversation, I ran into him in San Diego too. He's like, "Is that Tony? Is that Ryan? What are you doing here?" And the first thing he said was, "I had no clue we had an opportunity to go see the world from our neighborhood through the Navy until I saw you one day in New York." I was like, "No way," And then this is before like we really structured the core values for Lonely Floater. This is like a little while ago, and this really it means a lot because when we go out and travel and see the world, you develop, for instance, a different mindset. You get to engage people with different values. Some may have more values towards family, some may have more values towards, the spirituality. Some may have more values to just to looking towards within themselves. And that's not a common thing in the United States. Even though we're so diverse, we're also so very distracted. So if you go out, I see it as selfish, as to not learning something and sharing it with a friend you care about. Because if I care about you, I'm gonna let you know, hey, bro, like it's a bigger world out here. There's a lot more you can figure out. You just have to go see it for yourself. Here's how. That's why that's part of our core values.
I think it's such an important message, and especially relevant now, when we're all kind of waking up to our values that we've been carrying and what those mean, what we're really focusing on. Like you said, it could be directed towards spirituality or directed towards family or different aspects of life. But what we're holding here today and what we see in our country too is something that's come into the spotlight now. And so I love the relevancy of the brand in the moment now.
For sure. And also, I think that we made our values like that because as adolescents, we were highly disappointed by our leaders, and promises made, things like that. So we wanted to make sure that if we were to create something, we stayed true to us and stayed true to our vision, and also stay true to the people that believe in us, and not just go out, like, not just because, we could easily make money doing X. So we're just going to easily just jump on X and just do that for the profit. That's not necessarily the main goal. The main goal is really just to spread knowledge and spread love, to everybody. We recently had a conversation. This had to be a couple years ago. One of our followers is a transgender teen from Canada and reached out to us. I'm not going to name their name, but, due to confidentiality, but, they reached out to us and they just said, your brand, I represent with your brand, and everything. I see your brand and I see myself. And this is just a rant, like, and, I was out and about, I was probably at a party, and I looked at the message and I realized that I'm a small piece in a big world, but even though I'm a small piece, I still connect with other people, no matter where they are. And, I was the team came to New York, maybe like 6 months later, and was like, please, I really want to meet with you. I want to sit down and talk. And we sat down and talked for a few hours, and was just able to connect. And through Lonely Floater, I was really able to connect with a whole bunch of people. And
I think within the first year, people started really reaching out because they resonated with the name itself. Mm-hmm. And the point where they would ask for advice. Like, I think we stopped three mishaps from happening, like, with someone's life. And then at that point, we realized that this is a lot bigger than us. Like, we've already stepped past this threshold where we can't close the business anymore. Because people, the other day, like, whenever the word solidarity became the word of the month, this mother contacted me. She was like, I didn't realize how blind I was to the social injustice to young African Americans until like it was put in my face in this way, until they started burning down cities in Minnesota, which is why we're doing the donation for World Peace right now. And then she told me, like, I think she's really highly upset. So I couldn't imagine that happened to my own son. I couldn't imagine what it would be like for your own mother. I mean, and then every year is something new. So that's when we realized this is way bigger than us. That's why the network spans so far, because our message is true, and our clothing is just a method of marketing, just to reach out and put out, like, hey, like there's more to life than what it is,
Yeah.
I think especially now, this is relevant to what's going on, and will connect with people. But anytime you're leading with values, this is such a great example of how you can get into someone's heart so quickly, and you become part of their identity. They might not even like your designs, but they're going to grab on and latch onto you, and they're going to wear them with pride. I mean, have you ever worn an ugly shirt that you just loved because you loved what it said, or
all the time?
All the time. Yeah.
That's why I go for those dresses.
Now, fortunately, your stuff's pretty cool looking, but it does. Once it becomes part of an identity, I think that's the highest form of brand loyalty and connection you can have. So that's the power of leading with values, and you guys are doing a great job. me through some of the other things that you do. I mean, we'll see this just like on your website. We'll get to the accessories and the clothes. We're going to get there, but there's a couple other things your brand does well. And I love that you had a music playlist that you were sharing with people. I mean, if one thing gets to people's hearts and souls and in their mind, is listening to music.
It's a playlist and a radio show.
Talk about that. Yeah. I love that touch.
Well, like the whole playlist, it kind of happened by accident, honestly. So, you know, I was just on Apple Music and I was kind of unsatisfied with the playlist from Apple Music. And I was like, you know what? And some of my friends was like, you know, I ride around with my friends in their cars, or I go to their parties and they'd be like, hey, Levon's going to Aux. So, you know, I end up making playlists for these situations. Like if I go out and people are like, hey, here's the Aux. So once I have it, I know I'm just going to play nothing but things that people, and I have so many different types of situations that, you know, one of us like, hey, bro, why don't you just put a playlist up on the website? And I was like, oh, then we did it, you know? And that's just a perfect example of just like, you know, communicating with people, and people just literally, they're able to tell you what they want. And, you know, if it aligns with what you're doing,
don't forget to mention, you also after that started a radio show yourself called Floater Fridays.
Yeah, we started a radio show called Floater Fridays on Station Head. Station Head Radio is like an online radio show app, and you basically could host your own station, hold conversations with people, you know, and it was really interactive, you know, because I love music and I love all different types of music. And, you know, I just really like talking to people about music, you know, and I don't really have a place for that, you know, so I was just like, oh, this app was a perfect opportunity. Ended up using that app, and, you know, I ended up starting Floater Fridays. We had a pretty good turnaround, a whole bunch, and you're able to literally, like, it's on your phone, it's a phone app, so I could be on air. Say if I'm on air right now and you're on air, you could literally just hop in my show. We could have a conversation just right there.
Oh, conversation.
You know? And so I'll play music from some of my friends, people in the neighborhood, people around, people that support Lonely Floater, and I'll just like, send me your links and I'll put it up, you know, for the love. And I'm not trying to profit off anybody's music, so I'll just like, hey, as long as people's listening to my station, you're.
Oh, I'm just sort of dancing over here because, you know, you're talking about things right now. You've just taught our small business owners 3 things that they can do already in the conversation, which is, you know, lead
we don't
with
want to
values.
give too many trade secrets.
Okay.
Yeah. I
don't know. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. I was just saying, hey, you just taught in this matter of time we've been speaking so far. I mean, these are just concrete things I can pull out, but there's many more. If you're listening, everybody resonates with different things people say. But, you know, leading with the values, throwing in the music. Okay, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to start thinking about that for Peachy. I might have a playlist. I might do a radio station.
Yeah, people
playlist, podcast,
literally
put it all together.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Well, I'm a big 80s music. It's like Peachy has an 80s vibe. And I'm always using songs to send messages about customer experience through the lyrics. As corny
I think
as
the
that
80s
is.
and the 70s are one of my favorite eras.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm loving the ideas, and I'm taking notes on what you're saying. So thanks for sharing. This is what it's all about.
No problem.
Okay,
no problem.
Yeah.
Well, recently we started like, because I have a good friend of mine and he's a teacher. He's a teacher at the local high school, the high school that I went to. And he was just telling me, he was like, listen, bro, you know, your approach was pretty unorthodox. You know, I didn't finish college, you know, but I ended up learning a bunch of skills on YouTube. And through those skills, I was able to make money, you know, and from Lonely Floater to photography to graphic design to I kind of do like small business consulting in the neighborhood. You know, I help small businesses and try to help them develop. So with that, he spoke to me. He was like, listen, there's a whole lot of kids. They don't have hope. They feel like they have no ambition. They're not too sure where to go. What is it for them to do after high school? You know, so he called me. He's like, I'd love for you to come speak to these kids. And that was like probably the first time that I spoke to a group of people. And I really just came in and I just tried my best to really just speak to them and let them know that I'm literally came from the same place that you were at. And I'm not special, you know? I'm just a human being that's trying my best every single day. And I just told them, just try. And there's a few kids, they were inspired. They tried new things. I have one that's a photographer now, and just being able to reach out to people. And even though it's in a neighborhood, it's on a small scale, I'm really just trying my best to just inspire people, you know, because there's just so much out there in the world. There's so much that you can do, even outside of design and photography and all these things. There's just so much in the world that you can easily accomplish anything that you want. You just got to take the time and not be afraid to fail. You know,
That's why one of our products right now is the Stay Up Project, and that's our little like thing in the back burner where we try to incorporate. Because like we said earlier beforehand, we didn't have many leaders, but we do have leaders, but we don't have enough. So the goal is to find local leaders, because coming where we come from, there's a spectrum, and that spectrum is either you're an athlete or a rapper. And the reason why is because I mean that's all that we really have to see, other than crackheads running around on like little Barbie bicycles and stuff, but that's not, I digress. So the goal is to find local leaders to come to the schools and inspire the students to, you know, with maybe a trip, baseball game, you know, going to Six Flags, whatever it is. And then give them an incentive to do better in class, to strive to just not just get to college, because that's what they set us up for beforehand. I think we're losing time. Like that's what they said us beforehand, just to get us to college, not to actually excel in college. So what do we need to achieve that? Our idea was to create a life plan or a business plan. If you create a plan, how can you paint a picture without the right colors to use? What colors do you need? So for instance, like, okay, I want to go here, I want to go to this college, I want to get this degree, for this reason, and I want to work in this place. Well, that's more than enough than what they prepared us beforehand. So with the Stay Up Project, we get local leaders, they go to the school, inspire the kids. Like, okay, if you don't want to be a rapper, don't want to be an athlete, they took away what? The music programs.
They took a music program, yeah. They took out the music program
after school programs,
sixth grade.
And the level of violence, when I was in high school, there was a hole in our swimming pool, you know? Like, where does that funding go? I mean, we have a really good basketball team, but all we really do is send them out to China and stuff to play basketball. Like, I mean, our football field has what? Is literally a swamp in most of the year. But if we have local leaders to say, okay, we're from your neighborhood, we're from where you guys are from, I'm doing successful. Here's how I do it. Here's how I can inspire you. And I promise you, watch how those grades will go up and higher and stuff. That's one of the ideas we have in the back burner.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so powerful. You're right. And just having your own, you know, peers and people that came from where you came from stand in front of you and say, hey, you know, follow me. It's nothing special. It's just showing up and making a difference. You know,
Exactly. It just takes presence. You know, like how can I know I can do something if someone that doesn't? And I don't like to tap on like, you know, racial issues and stuff. Like how can I know that I can accomplish something if I don't see someone in my like that looks like me or resonates, someone I can resonate with in that seat, you know, like it'll discourage you. But like if you have a leader that you know that you know can look in your face and to tell you like this can happen because I did it, you can do it too. Watch him do 10 times better. You know?
Yeah.
That's Ryan, I'm a father to thank for that.
Sorry, Ryan, you've worked with schools too. You were mentioning earlier in our conversation before it started. You've been out there doing similar kind of work. So I think that's you know, such an incredible show and demonstration of your values right there.
Thank you. That's the high tech middle media arts out in Point Loma. One of the teachers out there reached out to me, and just like Peachy, they really went through the due diligence of learning about our business, and she said like we really would like you to come by and stop, along for to come by and stop and talk to our students because we have this fidget spinner, this next new business plan for the students there. And then I went there, talked about business ethics. I talked about, you know, creating the business website, how to work with merchandisers and sell, and you know, just how to not be a jerk when you work with people, like be honest. And later, fast forward, just like Lovans, I met a lot of students who really resonated with the words that I had to say. And moving forward, they started their own lip balm company, and made hundreds of dollars by selling in different stores. And then now we're also doing another project where we're actually at the end of it now, where it's our comic book. So the second series, so we have a comic book from Lonely Floater, and our second series for this comic book is basically we had the entire class kind of like compete with like their version of the sequel with the art, and like we had 2 students win, and we provided a little stipend for them. We paid them like an actual business deal, and then we're going to include them as well. And then we're almost done with that portion too. So we're engaged in our communities, and that's one of the most important things.
There's, you know, just setting a great example and building your brand at the same time, but you're leading again with the values, with your actions, and you know, people will follow what you're saying and showing them, and for that they maybe become customers of Lonely Floater. But I think you're setting a powerful tone first, and that's something that a lot of companies forget to do. They just say, here, buy this, it works this way and it has these features, or you know, it's got nice cotton and it's a cool hat, and you know, one size fits all, and they forget what it's all about, or they don't have a message, and it falls flat when they put it out there in the market. Okay.
This is our last slide, and this is pretty much our approach to our evolution of Lonely Floater from a brand, a clothing brand, to a brand, to an art music festival. Because like how Lovans said himself, like I also love music as well, but I also love, you know, creating video content. I love, you know, holding events. I like hosting events. I like attending events. And in order to incorporate all the things we love so much without stretching ourselves too thin, it will be to create an art music festival world tour. So our idea from Lonely Floater is to make sure that we're not only maintaining normal operations, but because I'm also a student at San Diego State University, and I'm a Lavin entrepreneur there. It's a program that's dedicated to a man named Leonard Lavin. So they provide mentors and resources for us to do so. So for the past year and a half, we've been working towards this. We actually held our first event last year in June or July we had like 5 different vendors show up, and then we hold this big old party, and then that like really with the message that Lonely Floater has presented, people actually attended that event too. And then Lovans himself, he's held events too. So we were thinking, like, if he really wanted to take this business to a point where it's a lasting legacy, how do we do that? Well, we can sell clothes, but that's how we started off. But what if the streetwear market or the clothing market gets diluted? Then what? We have to, you know, have different ways of revenue to come in for us to keep that name going, and for us to encompass everything under one umbrella, our music festival. So our approach is pretty much like, you know, how it's an environment. So we like to see ourselves a new generation of music festivals, and we want to create like an environment where the people that we communicate with on a daily within our community can bring their friends and family into like a giant celebration for like 2 or 3 days. That's our goal. That's our long term goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And right now I'm working with a few people from the community, and we're trying to figure out, after COVID-19 and after this passes away, how would we create some type of like open mic type of situation where, you know, people could come and they could showcase their talent, because I've realized that there's so many talented people, but they really don't have an outlet to perform, or they don't have an outlet to, even if it's to crack a joke or anything. A lot of people don't have that outlet, and just giving people that space and that freedom, and just making it's a positive place, non-judgmental, you know, because I don't want anybody to judge anybody on their current situation. I want everybody to be able to share their message, whether it's, you know, sad or positive, you know, just for them to get it out, you know, because I really think that also the real issue with now is that a lot of people have so much feelings bottled in with no way to express, and with fear of expression and fear of not being understood. And that creates a whole issue. So I wanted to figure out a way that we can bring people together. Right now, we're doing that virtually. We started a project from Lonely Floater. I partnered with two other friends, and we started the Basement Project. And the Basement Project is to highlight, musicians from the neighborhood. But what we're trying to do is the artists, they're not really artists that you'll see online. The artists are your mail guy, the guy that delivers your mail, but he ends up he has a mixtape, but nobody really knows he has a mixtape.
Yup.
Then the guy at the deli who chops, the butcher, and he chops meat on the day, but he maybe sings opera at night. So we wanted to create an opportunity where you see these people every single day, but give them an opportunity to showcase their talent online. And with my friends, where our visual and our content marketing, we're trying to build that to a point, and also collaborate with Lonely Floater and figure out the festival. Oh, we just got 2 new sales. Eee.
Yeah.
I just see that too. Nice. It's been a busy week.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really the goal.
There you go.
Just to spread positivity and just bring, because I feel like when I was younger, there wasn't really much of an opportunity for me, and I'm a pretty creative person. The music programs got cut out my community when I was in 6th grade. So from 6th grade to about 12th grade, 6th grade to 11th grade, I didn't have an art class. I didn't have a music class, and I'm a creative person that when I was younger, I did not have an outlet. And I feel like I could have been probably way bigger than I am now. I don't know. I could have been Virgil Abloh. I do not know. But I did not have that opportunity. I didn't have that opportunity when I was younger. So I want to make sure that after me, that these people, even kids, adults, people, have an opportunity to highlight themselves, because everybody wants to feel special at the end of the day, honestly, and just create an opportunity for people to feel special.
They say, every person that comes to your business has an imaginary stamp on their forehead that says, I want to feel important.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. That's
Yeah.
why the customer's always right.
Yeah. And like we here with Lonely Floater, we're really big on customer service. We try to treat our customers like VIP.
Like
We try our
family.
best to roll out the. Sometimes we hand deliver items if you're too close enough.
Oh yeah, that's how we started. That's pretty much how we started. Like if we got orders out in San Diego, like if you were in San Diego or if you were in New York, and we got an order, like we'll call you like, hey, like we like to drop this off to you, and then we'll meet up with the person, and then we'll tell them the story about how the brand started and what we stand for, and then it really grasped their attention, and I because first of all it was the effort of door-to-door sales. And then it was the fact that, okay, this is we're not just a clothing brand. Like this is how we can reach out to you. This is our method of reaching out to you. Then from there, it's like, wow, like they really just gave me a vision or something, a goal to believe in, or just a symbol to attach myself to that resonates with my identity or who I self-identify with too. That was so powerful. And then from there, I think that's one of the core parts of our business. Just treating people like family, like as if you were my brother, you were my sister, like powerful.
Yeah. Can you imagine ordering something from, one of those big corporations or companies and having the person, that wasn't part of making it and the idea behind it delivered? If Steve Jobs showed up and said, here's your Apple iPhone, he tell you about it and what it means and what we stand for. That's really, really powerful. That human connection, it makes all the difference. Yeah. And it shows your ambition and your grit and your genuineness. Is that the right word? In what you're doing, that you're willing to actually walk up to a customer in their face and say, here it is, have a look, do you like it? Let me tell you about it. You tell me what you think. That's courage, very courageous as a brand too. So you're not just getting feedback online, but that was pretty impressive.
What's pretty funny, sometimes I because I live in Mount Vernon, but which is not too far away from the city area. So sometimes I go inside the city, I go into Manhattan, and then there's been few times I run into people that have our clothing on. And then I get so happy that sometimes I just run up to them, I'm like, hey, that hat, I designed it, and I'll just start talking to them. And then they're just like, wait, you? He was like, but I thought it was the other guy. I was like, no. We're literally the same person. But yeah.
Hey, I would get calls at like 2:00 in the morning, like, "Hey, bro, I'm in Afghanistan. I just seen the chick wearing your hat." I'm like, "What? No way!" And they'll take a selfie together. I'm like, "No, what? Like,
What?
it's
Yeah.
we span, and we're not." That people can recognize our symbols and our designs because of our dedication to minimalism and branding, not just clothing and messages. Like, we always get updates, and from there we do the data research and like, okay, if this one worked, how about this one? All right, if this color worked, how about this one? This design worked, how about this one? Because like we don't only just approach with like emotional or like making people feel. We go by like analytics as well. I mean, why not? I'm an MIS major. I have to, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then it just pays off from there. All right, so this is our website. Our first latest collection right now is dedication to the Minnesota. First, it was for Doctors Without Borders to support patients and doctors that are affected by COVID-19. And then when the murder of George Floyd happened, we decided to cut that campaign out. We donated our share of that. Then I matched that, and we double donated to Doctors Without Borders, and we switched out to the Minnesota Freedom Front to help out protesters out in Minnesota. Our previous collections were the Solar Flare. That's the second to last one, and that's when we started incorporating more than just unisex. We started going for more female, male, like whatever you identify with, to just give different styles.
Mm-hmm.
Before that was the 2018 collection of the Summer Splash, and then the first collection was
honestly.
Yeah, that's when we had dropped out the festival fanny packs. Like for people that go to concerts and stuff. Like usually you can't come out with a backpack.
Yeah.
Small enough, cool enough, not too much, not too little, easy to find in the dark. You know, so we went out with fanny packs, a whole different line. Our first collection, our first actual solid collection was First Flight. We dropped our baseball jerseys because New York Yankees we're not too avid baseball fans, but like who doesn't love a good jersey? And then this is our comic book. I would like to leave this out for whoever watches this to do their own due diligence and visit this website on their own and get to read it, because the second one's going to be even better. The third one is going to be even better. Like we have a whole 12 series portion of this comic book.
Yeah, it's already written out.
Yeah, it's already written out. So World Peace Collection. So if you read down here, it says, we will donate a percentage of the proceeds made from this collection to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. This is to support their community-based non-for-profit efforts to aid and protect protesters, which also includes ICE detainees, because that's their mission statement as well for the Minnesota Freedom Fund. So that's a double whammy. Oh. Minnesota people that are being jailed right now and being let loose, and then people that are detained by ICE. So I think the thing about how we approach these charity donations is that we don't want to be too specific. For instance, with COVID-19, like, okay, if we help people out that are getting sick in the West Side, what about the East Side? Well, how can we support people all around? So we went for the Doctors Without Borders because they travel the world to help people that are affected by it. And then when we cut out that donation and finished it out, we decided that, okay, now we have to be specific, because I made a friend the other day. His family's from Liberia, but he's from Minnesota. And he told me the last thing I have left of the Target from where I grew up at is just a pair of socks. They just burned it down. And now people that I know from the areas are in prison and stuff, and are locked up right now because of the whole protest and all that stuff. And then I was like, you know what? We should be specific this time. So that's what we went out with this Minnesota Freedom Fund. And we said, okay, how can we really go about approaching this, and how can we get the message out to our community that we stand for social justice, we're against inequality. We believe that we are all important, but we can't all be important if one of us is left behind.
For sure.
And then we created simple designs, super simple designs. So we had tank tops, face masks, hoodies. I want you to see the back of this. It's one of my favorite ones here. This is a World Peace unisex hoodie. In the front and the left side, the right side says World, left side says Peace. Something super simple, minimalistic, but it's enough to show on the back where it says, you see the world and you see the peace sign. you know,
And your balloon.
and the balloon in our character. And then let's go back here. Also includes the sizing of it as well. Down here is our other products we have. So we have the face mask, our dad hat, and then we didn't want to put, as always, not too much because we want to get the message across. Like, yo, we are all in this together, but we have to work together in order to do that, you know. And then the cost of production be less too, so that means our donation will be even bigger, you know. Because if you spend more money on producing clothing, what's the point? So that's how we went about it.
Yeah.
How about this? You see donation campaign. And then should we start from 17 or should we start from 19? Let's start from 17.
Yeah.
So our first collection was called Pre-Flight. And Pre-Flight was basically our introduction to the streetwear industry. And that included like 4 hats. It had this design here with the balloon on it. And then another design with one of our other characters was a skull with the crown of leaves called the King of the Autumn. And by the way, we also we're at like 4 people confirmed with Lonely Florida tattoos. Just want to put that out there. And I'm one of them, by the way. So it's the first collection we dropped was just 4 black hats with 4 different designs. But it was strategic to the point where we knew like, okay, if they resonated with this message, we'll go forward with that. And this is what we went forward with. And the first flight was the actual collection. And that's what the comic book is dedicated to, because you see the balloon there, and then we have the astronaut and the lonely floater that with the exchange of the red balloon itself. So that's why you put it there in our clothing. You had the urban feel there too. So we had our snapbacks, our baseball camo tees, and our practice batting jerseys, and our also our bucket hats too. And we also give out stickers for our products as well. I think we're almost sold out of a lot of this stuff, but the thing is that we're not making it again. So it's one and done. So like the goal here is that when we transition into our music festival, which our one of our high goals is that we want to be the best. The music festival is one of the best merchandise to go out. I mean, because that's how we started. And but where was it going? Yeah, let's go to the next one.
I love that you're thinking about where people will wear your accessories and clothes.
Yeah.
You know, you actually like creating a story around that and what that would look like and why it makes sense for them. And I like that.
Thank you. Yes. So this is our second collection called Splash Summer, and Splash, and it's the summer 2018. And when some of them are already sold out. We have the fanny packs here. A lot of these colors are already sold out.
Yeah, I think there's only like 10 left, honestly.
Yeah, I have a few left. And so we started making visors as well, phone cases, different types of dad hats, snapbacks, camo snapbacks, and other kinds of shirts. Also more stickers. Oh, here's our playlist.
Yeah.
And then, right here. And then our second to last one is Solar Flare. I really like this edit here. And usually when we make designs, it's usually off a request. It's like, hey bro, I know you guys have this, but like I don't like really wearing this color, so can you make a hat like this for me? And like, you know what? If we can make it for you, I'm pretty sure someone else will want that too. You know? And then if it's a really good hat, we'll name it after you. That's usually how it goes. Like we had the blue
huge. Yep.
hat. We had a regular dad hat with the red balloon on it, and then one of my close friends was like, well, my favorite color is blue. I'm like, oh really? And then the hat started selling off, and we named it after him too, called the Ellis hat.
I love that. Celebrating your customers. Yeah.
And then there's the Lamont hat.
Yeah, the Lamont hat too. So Lamont hat is dedicated to one of my close friends. Also, his name is we'll go with Lamont. And we used to live in Japan together because we were both in the Navy, and me and him were brothers. And like he went through some trials and tribulations, and then we stopped communicating. We stopped communicating with me, and I got worried. And I was like, well, I have a platform to try and contact with him, and he still watches my stuff, so I'm naming after him, and he posting it, pushing it. turned out to be one of our best-selling hats, other than our number one OG Forgotten Secret hats. And eventually he contacted me, like, hey bro, like I know I've been messing up and stuff, but like, I'm glad to talk to you and stuff. Like he's doing way better now, so that's good. So that's one of the big things there. And then this is one of my favorite shirts here too. This is Levon. I think this is Levon's hands here, called The Root of All Evil.
That's Dawson's hands. That's one of my good
Dawson's
friend's
hands?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I feel like this, like, without having to say too much, it just says enough for itself, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, right here. It says, luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. This is comfortable for both men and women. Are you prepared for the next quest?
Yeah.
Some people worship the dollar bill, you know?
Yep.
But we see it as an asset to acquire more happiness than what you can do for yourself within. So we start releasing baby clothing. This is a cutoff. This is a crop top hoodie. Oh, we started dropping the duffel bags too. Actually, I have one prepared too for my trip to Los Angeles for Juneteenth. It's not fully packed, but
great!
I travel everywhere with it. Everywhere I go, every country I go to, I make a sale off of that because people see that duffel bag come out that dolly in the airport.
Yeah.
Then we got some scarves, tote bags, start releasing pins, and then we start releasing socks and bag tags.
Very cool. Oh, bag tags. That's clever. Yeah.
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 Because there's a whole bunch of people that travel.
How can we say that we want to inspire you to travel and pass off the information, but not provide you a way to go about? Yeah. So, you know?
Yeah, it's aligned perfectly. Yeah. Very good.
Next is what, a suitcase that moves by itself? It's not just this collection. I want to make that clear. That's dedicated to Minnesota Freedom Fund. Is the entire website. So like everything that's purchased from between now and the end of the campaign is going to be dedicated. It's going to be split up between us and the proceeds and to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. Just the same way we did for the Doctors Without Borders. Our next collection is pretty much 75% finished, and it's called The Trials of the Tortuga. And this includes the guest writing of students from students from High Tech Middle Media Arts in Point Loma, and also a student from San Diego State University as an artist, along with myself and Levance for the comic book. And then the clothing would be a lot more spread out between the sexes. Yeah, it'll only just be unisex. It'll be like, you know, some swimming suits because summertime. It really depends on how COVID-19 goes. Because you don't like put out some stuff and no one can really wear it to go out. That's not. I mean, it varies, but it's in the works. And I feel like we should be finished between August.
Yeah.
Or late summer, early fall.
For sure.
So yeah.
You guys are growing into all different kinds of areas. I mean, if you start throwing in swimwear, and then you got the hats and the travel and everything. So I love that you're brave enough and not afraid to try. Yeah, and you're growing. Your ambition is, through the roof, and I can feel it from here. So it's inspiring, just that alone. Just that. But also your values are definitely at the forefront, and the humanity is palpable in everything that you're doing and saying. So I can't thank you enough for sharing everything that you did today.
Thank you.
Such an important,
thank you for having us.
Yeah, such an important and relevant brand message, which is really what a brand is all about. It's about their message. So I think you guys are doing such an amazing job at communicating that, and in so many ways, through the high schools and your teachings, to showing up at delivering your own packages, to sharing your favorite music that you want people to vibe with you on. So such a cool approach. Yeah.
One of the other big things too was we also sponsor athletes. So if you're into extreme sports like skateboarding, BMX, snowboarding, we send out gear to them. If you're a pro gamer, we send out gear to them too. And if you're and we also make boxing gloves too. So if you're a boxer or MMA fighter, we'll make you a rash guard. Or we already have two guys. Alex Camacho is one of the champs in the entire country of Spain. I send him stuff all the time. He actually came to visit Vegas one time to hang out with us. Like it's been really we try our best not to stretch ourselves too thin, but we have to. Like, how can you not when all this opportunity is out there? You know?
Yeah.
Well, you're true entrepreneurs, and that's part of the curse of that is that you want to eat everything up as fast as you can, and and you work through it. But that's the lifestyle. It's what feeds your inner self and keeps you going and keeps you inspired. Yeah. So it's important. Yeah. Any other things? Any other things that you wanted to add before we wrap up? I'm happy.
Don't be afraid to fail. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Don't be afraid to fail. And one of my favorite quotes that I made myself was that success is not the final destination, but a departure point to conquer the stars. And for me, I live by that. I've even have it on my wall, because just because you reach somewhere and you feel like it's done, the second you think you're done, that's where you've already lost 1,000 times. Use that success to build up more. And if you feel like you can't do any more, then that's the point we start helping out other people. So yeah, that's what I like to end on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Peachy is fairly new too, so I'm taking your words to heart. And I've had to hold back some tears about 3 times during this whole conversation. So
Thank you.
It's been really great for me, and something that I needed to hear right now. And you're reminding me why I love doing these interviews, and it's everything to me. That's what keeps me going. So you did a great job firing me up today. I'm getting myself a fanny pack, so you're down one more. I'll be doing that before they sell out. I love me a fanny pack.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are special, and wouldn't be more proud to have you as an interview on Peachy. And thank you so much for your time from New York to San Diego. So lots of love.
Thank you so much.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Okay, yeah, I'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.